Going live. You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. And why are the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? I greatly appreciate it. Or if anybody's going to spend any time at all watching any of the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. It means so much to me. Greatly appreciate it. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, as I try to do all the time. Most of the time it goes a little bit longer than 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, just feel free. Throw in the chat box, fire away. I check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. So if I see anything in there, I just try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. Plus, it's nice sometimes just to talk to somebody, right? Instead of me just going on and on and on. All right. So please feel free, fire away, throw away in the chat box. Before I get started, anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. And tap this link in the description box. There's a link. It takes you to my membership page. All right. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. Okay. There's loyalty badges. Now, each loyalty badge is 8 of them. Each one is a different Giants helmet. Now, the older the Giants helmet is and design that's associated with your name, right? That means the longer you've been a supporter of my channel. If you get the leather helmet associated with your name, that means you've been a supporter of my channel for a long time. You know, there's also 4 emojis. Eventually, there will be a 5th emoji coming out. But there's 4 of them right now. I had these things made up on Fiverr.com. They freaking crack me up every time I look at them. They're freaking hilarious. You can use them in the chat box when you place a comment or anything like that. But there will be a 5th one coming out. Right now, there's only 4 of them. Okay, so if anybody wants to help support my channel, once again, it would mean the absolute world to me. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please go down below. Okay, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put out a video, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. So what do you got to lose, right? Right now, the live count, I'm sorry, every time I start talking, my dog wants to come and sit next to me. He doesn't wait for 5 or 10 minutes after I'm talk. He doesn't do it before I start talking. As soon as I start talking, like within the first minute or so, he comes over and he wants to sit down. I got to start rubbing his belly, right? Then after about a minute of rubbing his belly and scratching his head, he lays down. But right now I got 6,527 subscribers. What the hell did I start the day with here? Today I start 6,490. So got up 37 subscribers so far today. Freaking fantastic. I tell you what, even after the season's been over, I'm still going up 30 or 40 subscribers a day, which is freaking fantastic. I never thought in my wildest dreams I had this many. It was the beginning of February, like right around there. I got the 5,000 count subscriber mark. I mean, it was incredible. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd ever have 5,000 subscribers on this channel. And now I have over 6,500 going strong every day. So if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. Thank you. If you're not, go down below. What do you got to lose? It's free of charge. Just hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, as I said. That way, next time I go live or put a video out or whatever, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? What do you got to lose? And then finally, right, in the description box, there's 2 Facebook links, okay? The top link takes you to my Facebook group, okay, which is called New York Giants, the Gridiron. Now, as I say all the time, everything, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, and my Facebook page, it's all called New York Giants, the Gridiron. That way, a moron like me, I can remember the stuff. I don't have to start thinking too much, all right? Because thinking's not my strong suit, all right? So I keep everything pretty much the same, okay? So right now we have over 2,500 members in the group, okay? I spend at least an hour every day putting stuff in the group and at least an hour every day putting the stuff on the Facebook page, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. It's 7 days a week. Every day I'm putting stuff in the group and on the page, right? And I said, with the group, if you become a member, not only do I put stuff in there too, okay, but the members put stuff in there as well too, right? So there's a ton of New York Giants. I say I try to put at least 10 different items in here every day, okay? One of us, somebody made fun, kind of making fun of like Daniel Jones and his contract. Says breaking news: Daniel Jones is seeking $1 billion a game in his new contract. I mean, it's funny stuff, all kinds of stuff. Some of the stuff, I got a couple pictures here of Joe Shane and Brian Dable at the combine, right? There's stuff making fun of the Eagles, stuff making fun of the Cowboys. Julian Love's listed his 5 best Giants defensive players of all time, right? There's all kinds of stuff in there. Stuff, Quentin Johnston. I'm going to kind of go over in a couple of minutes here. I can see myself in that blue, just like I was in high school. I mean, I can see myself in Giants blue, right? So, I mean, he might be preparing himself to become a New York football Giant, right? So there's all kinds of stuff I got in there. And then also the second Facebook link, okay? It takes you to a page, and this is called New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a page, okay? Right now we have 698 people, okay, who like the page. Right, and there's over 3,300 people following it, okay? Like every few days, I'm going up like another 100 followers. It's fantastic, huh? And we'll have 2 more people who like, and we'll be up to 700 people liking this page. But it's the same thing. Every day, I put stuff in here every day. There's at least 10 different items going in here every day. And so you figure the page in the group, there's over 20 different videos and pictures and stats and photos and all kinds of stuff going in there. And as I said, and I don't like really commingle them. So basically, whatever I put on the page, I don't put in the group, and whatever basic, for the most part, whatever goes in the group does not go in the page. So, I mean, so between the two, there's over like 20 different items every day, well over 20 between me and the other members. So go to the page, okay, like it and follow it, and go to the group, okay, and become a member. And between the two of them, you get a ton of New York Giants stuff every day. And if you're not satisfied, as I say, you get your money back guaranteed. All right. All right. With all that stuff said and done, I was looking at the combine, because I mean, obviously they're all big days for the Giants. I mean, the cornerbacks, obviously, the running backs. So, but I mean, the offensive linemen, right? So, I mean, all of them are, kind of, but I think this day here, okay, more than any is a real big one, because the Giants can use all 3. Okay, they had the tight ends, the wide receivers, and the quarterbacks. Now, why like the quarterbacks? Well, I mean, Daniel Jones, is still, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Clock's ticking, right? We got till Tuesday, right? I believe it's Tuesday, 4:00. So we got less than 3 days, and we got to have a decision made on Daniel Jones, or they're going to throw the franchise tag on him now. I just don't know. I hope they can get something done. I mean, there's get maybe what you're worth and this, that, and the other thing and all, but then there's also helping the team out as well too. And there's no I in team. Okay, there is a me. I get that, but there is no I in team. I wish some of these guys would really pull their head out of their asses. And I get it. You want all you want, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's all great and everything. But sometimes if they're throwing like $39-40 million, let's also put a little perspective on it here too. $40 million. That's a lot of money. Okay. I get you want all your blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you want all that stuff. Yeah, this is what you deserve. Yeah, okay, I get it. But let's also not forget, $40 million is a lot of fucking money. Okay? And it's not just like a one-time thing. Okay, Daniel, we're going to give you $40 million, and that's the only contract you're going to have is going to be a 1 year, $40 million. Okay, and that's what you're making for your whole career. That's it. So after this season, your career's over, and you never play football ever again, and you got to go to flipping burgers at McDonald's. No, I mean, it's a multi-year deal. And after, even if it's only like a 3 or 4 year deal, he'll still be like probably under 30. He can maybe get it if he does well, balls out, whatever, he gets another big contract, So I wish some of these guys really, and I get it. I'm happy they're making their money, but all that stuff. I wish some of these guys really pull it, stop turning it like Kyler Murray, the little fucking baby ass bitch that he is. Hasn't really done jack mother shit since he's been here. And he wanted to be, I forgot who he wanted to be. He wanted $100,000 more than one of the other guys out there because he's a little fucking baby ass fucking bitch. So his contract, he has to be $46,100,000 to be worth it. He hasn't done jack MF and nothing since he's been in the league, and he wants more money. I mean, I really wish some of these guys would really pull their head out of there. I mean, I'm all for getting the money and all, but it's also, remember, you got a team, okay? And I wish maybe Daniel Jones also realized that too. If he doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to or nobody to block for him or anything like that, it's going to be a little difficult for him to be a successful quarterback. So I hope they really get something done, okay, without having put the franchise tag on him, okay? But right. There was an article I saw. Plus, I got my own, couple things I'm going to throw in here as well too, because I was watching the combine. It's very, very interesting. But the quarterbacks, okay, went today, and this one, whatever, Big Blue View. Okay, I love these guys. This SB Nation, the Big Blue View, they do a very, very good job. All right, they had three quarterbacks. Okay, that they brought up because, I mean, some of the other guys, aren't going to throw. They got their own pro day, and all that stuff. But you got to give a lot of credit to guys that come out and who do throw, right? And, they've never thrown in this stadium before. They're throwing the wide receivers they've never thrown to before, and this, that, and the other thing, So you got to give these guys a lot of credit. The guys actually come out and run the drills, run the 40s, throw the balls, catch the ball. You got to give those guys a lot of credit, okay? Not everything's going to be perfect. I mean, that's one thing in the NFL. There's adversity. Okay, how do you respond to adversity? All right. I mean, I get it where you want to have your own balls and your own guys and throwing your own stadium and and all this stuff, right? But it's not always that hunky dory. When you actually get into the NFL, sometimes there's that little adversity thrown at you, right? So I mean, sometimes guys perform well under adversity. You got to give those guys a lot of credit. So this article here, they give three quarterbacks some credit. Okay, one is Stetson Bennett, the quarterback from Georgia. They led them. I think they've won 72,000 games in a row. They won the last 2 national championships. Like one of the greatest. Just freaking absolutely phenomenal. He's a little small because he's like 190 pounds, 5'11". I mean, that certainly doesn't mean, you got Drew Brees out there, right? Doesn't mean if you're a short quarterback, you can't win a Super Bowl or anything like that, but it certainly doesn't help, okay? He had a good day. He threw the ball. He did throw the ball very well. He could throw the ball fast, though. He stepped it up. Obviously, he's not going to be a day one pick, but for him, there's something like along the lines of the Giants, okay? Davis Webb is now gone, okay? Tyrod Taylor, we got him for 1 more year. Do we want to get? I mean, Tyrod can be on my team anytime. Love, experience. He's very, of course, he threw 1 interception this year, but he's very good with the ball, okay? But he's very smart, intelligent, with a lot of experience, quarterback, okay? But, I mean, he costs you some money, okay? Is this going to be his last year? Right? The Giants could quite possibly, in day 3, all right? They got 2 third-round picks, too. So, I mean, it depends upon how the board falls and all and everything to them. It'd be interesting to see. But I really, really would be surprised if they did not take a quarterback somewhere along the lines, okay? And somebody like Stetson Bennett, right? Somebody, you bring in, you develop. Obviously, you kind of, well, I mean, especially this year, all right? If just say they draft Stetson Bennett, Okay. He's a winner. He knows how to get things done. Obviously he's not, I don't think he's ever going to be the answer, but as far as a capable backup, quite possibly. If you have if we can get signed Daniel Jones, right? So we have Daniel Jones, we'll have Tyrod Taylor. Okay. Then you have Stetson Bennett, right? Between, then he can be on the bench for a year. Then if Tyrod goes, we still have Daniel Jones, right? You keep bringing Stetson Bennett along, all right? They're going to need somebody, okay, who they're going to want to maybe, develop, right? Probably will never wind up being, quite possibly Stetson Bennett, possibly will never wind up being a starting quarterback in the NFL, but he could be an adequate backup for you, okay? Another one they had was the quarterback from UCLA, Thompson Robinson, Dorian Thompson Robinson. In this article, they call him DTR, I guess for short. In here it said, I have to admit my personal bias here. I came into the combine liking DTR. It isn't often you see a 200-pound quarterback throw a block for a 220-pound running back. He has a rare competitiveness and a big arm to go with plenty of athleticism. Okay. DTR ran a 4.56 second 40. Very impressive. Okay. Measured 6'2" with almost 10-inch size hands. Very impressive. All right. The 6'2", you'd like it be a little bit taller than that, but still 6'2". Okay. And he eclipsed both Will Levis and Anthony Richardson with a 62 mile per hour ball speed. Okay. It's fast. He seems to have improved his mechanics and gotten more consistent with his footwork, which could explain his impressive ball speed. And this guy says, I believe that DTR is my pick for a quarterback drafted, okay, after the first round, who can emerge as a starter. That's this guy's, okay, I'm not sure who is this here. Chris Flum. Chris Flum. Okay. He's the one who wrote this article. Okay, and then the last one I got here, okay, is Anthony Richardson. This guy freaking a lot of people was talking about this guy knocking it out of the park with his athleticism. His RAS score was perfect, 10. Okay, freaking absolutely phenomenal. Okay, in this article he says, I can't sit here and say that a quarterback who's reported quarterback 2 on some teams' boards is a combine winner, but when you test out as the most athletic quarterback in combine history, okay, it bears mentioning, okay? Anthony Richardson, RAS so far with the official split doesn't change his score, which you'd expect. I mean, they have him as a 10, okay? His height, his height's not absolutely perfect, but it's 244 pounds. I mean, you look at the freaking guy; he's built like a Greek god. I mean, just my goodness. Now you kind of hoping that all of those muscle doesn't, tighten him up or anything like that. Okay, he's still a little raw, but I mean, if there's somebody that possibly can maybe get the best out of him, work with him, it could be Dable, right? Apparently he didn't do the bench, but his vertical, he jumped a 40.5-inch vertical, which his RAS score is a 10. His broad jump was 10 foot 9 inches, which is a 10. Okay. 40-yard dash, 4.44, which is a 9.98. 20-yard split was 2.58, which is a 9.93. His 10-yard split is a 1.53, which is 9.99. All right. So his RAS, his hand size is 10.5 inches. Okay, his arm length is about almost 33 inches, right? His RAS score was perfect, 10, okay? Now, a lot of people thought he was going to knock it out of the park athletic-wise, and he did. Now, check this the frick out. This is fucking crazy. His official time was 4.43, and he had a top speed 23.4 miles per hour. I mean, you get to 22, you're flying. 23.4, almost 23.5 miles an hour. Holy freaking crap. Wow. Now, it says Richardson was somewhat erratic in his throws, okay, which fits in with his scouting report. Yeah, I mean, he's still a little raw, right? He's undeniably raw as a quarterback prospect, and it's almost isn't fair for him to throw just before CJ Yes, you got him throwing the ball, and then you got Stroud coming in and probably just pinpointing everything, pinpoint accurate, right? So, but his upside and tools will almost certainly get him drafted in the first half of the first round. So there's a good chance he won't reach the Giants. Okay. Well, there's two guys the Giants talk to extensively. Okay. So far. I mean, I'm sure they got, other guys. Of course, Hendon Hooker is the other one. Okay. From Tennessee. Now he's 25. Okay, so he's basically as old as Daniel Jones, basically. Okay, except he's just coming out of college. All right, but he's got a lot of a lot of upside to him as well too. Okay, now a lot of with Tennessee is that their offense there, they scheme a lot of guys open. They have they have guys that the wide receivers, some of them line up like almost a yard from the sideline. You know what I mean? Like wide, they spread the field wide open. You got to defend every blade of grass against Tennessee. So they scheme a lot of guys wide open and all that. So it's a little friendly, for the offensive players and all, right? But besides Hooker's a very, very good quarterback. With a lot of has some potential. Now it's the same thing as as with Richardson. You got to bring him in. He ain't somebody you're going to put him on the field in year one. It's like, all right, brother, take us to the Super Bowl. Let's do this. No, that's not happening. All right, you're gonna have your ups and downs. You're gonna have more downs and ups. Okay, so it's somebody you got to bring along. But I mean, if they're going to do something like that, I mean, maybe take a Hooker, or if somehow Richardson were to get to the Giants at 25, especially, I mean, you got to also look at it too. Okay, one thing you got to look at it, right, is a lot of it you got to start putting on maybe Daniel Jones's play, right? I mean, if you're having a hard time signing Daniel Jones, okay, and you push, I get it. You want to get whatever you can and all, but if he thinks, if he wants like 45 to 48, $49 million, which some of what I'm hearing now, it's like, you're not worth that much money. You're not worth Patrick Mahomes' money. You know what I mean? I mean, Joe Burrows is going to get like maybe 50. You ain't Joe Burrows, dude. I mean, let's slow your roll a little bit, brother. So if Daniel Jones doesn't, accept the offer the Giants have on the table, that could leave a little. Because remember, Dable and Shane have no ties to Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley, right? But they're trying to, they're trying to work with him. Well, I think we can maybe do something with this guy. We'd like to have this guy around. I mean, he did okay last year with what he had to work with, the offensive line he had to work with the lack of weapons he had to work with. All right, he didn't do bad. All right, let's, we have no ties to him. Okay. But we'll put some money in front of the table, something. I mean, I'm hearing 35 to 38 or 39 million, possibly what they're offering them. I mean, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. I mean, you have one solid season. I mean, 15 touchdown passes, right? And you want like almost $50 million for, or basically you want $45 million. So basically you want $3 million for each touchdown pass. Really? Yeah. Okay. But I mean, so if he really, upsets the apple cart, right? It causes a little friction here or whatever like that. Maybe the Giants start, if they have the franchise tag him, and basically it kind of maybe almost screwed his freaking season up for the Giants, salary cap wise. Well, maybe the Giants might start that again if one of these guys gets them in the first round. I mean, that didn't stop the Eagles, right? They had Carson Wentz. On a rookie deal. Took him to the Super Bowl. Well, I mean, he got hurt before that, but he had a very good season. He was a front runner for the MVP. He got injured. Okay, Nick Foles came in, led him to the Super Bowl. Okay, but on their rookie deal, okay, Carson Wentz, got to the Super Bowl, but that didn't stop them from drafting Jalen Hurts in the second round, a couple of years later, right? So what? And was it 2020? Yeah, in 2020, they drafted Jalen Hurts, right? They had Carson Wentz, but that didn't stop them from drafting Jalen Hurts. That might be the same thing with the Giants, right? I mean, if Daniel Jones starts causing a little bit of friction, some problems. I mean, they might want him to be here, but it's like, the Giants, Joe Shane keeps talking about, we got to walk away money. We got a walk away number, right? I mean, chances are pretty much no matter what, he's going to be the quarterback. They're going to put the franchise tag on him. I mean, if they can't sign any kind of a long-term deal, but going to start causing a little bit of friction. Maybe the Giants. All right, Daniel. Okay, you think you work 50? Yeah, I don't think so, pal. We need a quarterback this year, so you're going to be our quarterback. But if the opportunity presents itself in the draft, we might take one of these quarterbacks. So I don't know. I mean, just Richardson, just what he did today, athletic wise, just freaking knocked it out of the park. Absolutely freaking amazing. But I mean, so that's why the Giant, really, have their have their eyes peeled on those quarterbacks. If not just, having a problem trying to sign Daniel Jones, maybe to get somebody just to replace him, maybe. But they're going to need somebody, a developmental guy that they can have, on their, as a backup. Right. I mean, if hopefully Dable and Shane will be here for a while. Okay. Have Dable come in, right. And get some guy, bring him along, after a year, a couple of years, whatever, he gets a little bit better, right. More familiar with the play calling and all that, right. Bring him along. So somewhere along the line, they need to get themselves another quarterback. So whether it's early on or later on, quarterbacks, don't be surprised the Giants take a quarterback here. I mean, it's, right. Then we got the wide receivers, right? They had a couple of guys here, right, who they think did really, really, really good. Ford Wheaton from West Virginia, big dude. Okay, they said he's very similar in size to DK Metcalf. Metcalf's that guy's a beast. My guy. Ford Wheaton and Metcalf are the only players at their position to weigh at least 220 pounds, jump more than 40 inches, okay, in the vertical, and run a sub 440 at the combine since 2003, okay? Freaking unbelievable. Metcalf's athletic score is an 88. Ford Wheaton was an 87. Vertical jump, Ford Wheaton, 41-inch vertical. 40-yard dash, 4.38. Metcalf was a 4.33, okay? I mean, very freaking impressive. I mean, he's almost 6'4", right? Somebody the Giants going to keep an eye on, right? I mean, almost 6'4", 220 pounds, 4.38 with a 41-inch vertical. 6'4", and he can go up 41 inches. Freaking very impressive. Run up sub 4.40. Sub 4.40. Very impressive. Right, he helped himself out big time. Okay, Darius Davis, wide receiver from TCU. He had a very good first impression with an official 4.36 second 40-yard dash. Right, so he helped himself quite a bit. Josevic, I think it is. Josevic. I have a hard time pronouncing his name. The wide receiver from Princeton. Okay. He did very, very good. He had 4.40, 4.4 second 40. Okay. It's 6'3", 205 pounds. He's a little thin framed. Okay. But he's got the height. Right. And said also here in his article, I said, whenever a impressive throw and catch was made in the first group, Josevic seemed to be on the receiving end of it. Okay. And so for Princeton, okay, he had 66 receptions, he had 7 touchdowns and 943 receiving yards. But, we're talking Princeton here, okay? We're not talking, right? Matt Landers, the wide receiver from Arkansas. Okay. Let's see. Landers gave scouts plenty of reason to go back to Arkansas tape for 2023. It's 6'4", 200 pounds. Okay. He turned in a 4.39 40. All right. 37-inch vertical, 10'10" on the broad jump, almost 11 feet. Whew, my God, these guys are freaking unbelievable. Okay. Then there's also Quentin Johnston. He said, one of the things he said, he said, I can see myself in the Giants blue. All right. So he said that's the colors I had on, I think, in high school. Right. So Quentin Johnston, he's talking up that, he could see himself being drafted by the Giants at 25. And, he's didn't sound like he was too bummed out about it. Also, Jordan Addison. Okay. He seemed a little, he seemed like he wouldn't mind the spotlight of New York as well, too. So we got a couple of the wide receivers, the big time guys, also talking about possibly about, keeping an eye out on being drafted by the Giants. But Quentin Johnston, 6'4", 215 pounds, right? Very, 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 very impressive. Let me see here. What we got here? Johnson and Addison, and Jigba, all right, Flowers. Let's see. Jalen Hyatt. Okay, he's very very speedy. He's got some big time speed there. Okay. But once again, he's from Tennessee. They had their offense. They kind of like scheme guys. They spread the field out big time. That's why some of it, their numbers, you have to take into account, the way they draw the plays up and everything. Some of his production may not translate over into, the NFL, but, he's 180 pounds, right? But very, very fast. You're looking for somebody maybe to take the top off that would be him. Okay. So there's a lot of good wide receivers. There's no wide receivers that, we're looking at like, Jamar Chase or anything like that. Okay. There's a lot of decent guys. Okay. After you get past like the first round or so, then they all come in flavors. Do you want a slot guy? Do you want a tall guy? Do you want some, there's after like maybe the first round or so, there's nobody who's going to just blow you away with everything. Okay. As far as, speed and outside, he can jump and separation, and he can work in the, after like the first round or so, you're going to have to pick and choose who you want. All right. As far as like their skill set, shall we say. Okay. But there's certainly some wide receivers out there too. All right. Also, let's not forget, the Giants quite possibly going after maybe a cornerback too. There's a lot of cornerbacks with first round grades, okay, in this draft. Now, the next one we come up to, of course, is the tight ends. Now, let's not forget, the Giants. If we, their depth chart. With tight ends. They got tight ends. Last year, at one point before, I think Evan Ingram went and Rudolph went and all, we had like 7 or 8 of them at one time last year. Okay. Now then we got 5. Okay. We got Chris Myrick, Dre Miller. All right. Daniel Bellinger, Nick Vannett, and Lawrence Cager. All right. So, there's nobody there really, Bellinger had a nice year. Some of the guys, Vannett is maybe a better blocker and all. So, the Giants could certainly, without question, look to upgrade. Okay. That. Now, there's a very, very deep tight end class. Okay. There's a lot of guys here. Okay. The Giants could certainly take, let's see. I mean, Dalton Kincaid, Meyer, Musgrave, Laporta, Washington, Kraft. I mean, Schoonmaker, Mallory, Latu, Kunz from Old Dominion. I heard a lot of good things about him as well too. Now, there was just one guy. The one guy I think is from Georgia. My God. But we'll go over some of these guys here first, right? Tucker Kraft, tight end from South Dakota State. Okay. Let's see. They said the entire tight end class was a winner today. They look fantastic out there, and it's saying something when the 10th fastest tight end was still turning out. The 10th fastest was still doing a 4.740. The 10th fastest. Very impressive. Okay. Let's see. Tucker, let's see. Yeah, one of the small players. Tucker Kraft looked like he belonged with the top big school tight ends in the country. Not only is he a very good athlete, but he was a solid in all field drills. He's going to be one of the many starting tight ends coming out of this draft class. So, the Giants don't have to take one in the first round, right? But, you could get somebody in, obviously, day 2 or even early day 3 who could be a contributor. That's something to look on. Because the Giants, we need wide receivers, we need wide receivers, we need wide receivers, and we need wide receivers, okay? Right, wide receivers are weapons. Okay, don't overlook the fact that if we can get Saquon back, he's a weapon. Right, don't overlook the fact if we can get somebody who's a little more athletic, maybe than a Bellinger. Okay, as far as a tight end who's will catch the ball a little bit better, that's a weapon. Okay, if we run the 2 tight ends, offenses, which they didn't run a ton of. Okay, but you get Bellinger out there and another tight end out there. Right, that second tight end could be a weapon for you. Darnay Washington, this is the guy. They compared him to like a little baby Gronk. Gronk was 6'6" and a quarter. Darnay Washington was 6'6", 5 5/8 of an inch. Right, they're both like 264 pounds. Gronk ran a 4.6840. Darnay Washington ran a 4.6440. Okay, Washington, I've seen this quite a few times. He's running just like a pass pattern. He runs out like about 5 yards or so. He's got these long freaking strides, right? But the ball's like he's looking back at the court. He runs like a 5 and out or whatever it is. You look back, the quarterback like throws the ball over his wrong shoulder. So he jumps up with one hand, snatches the ball out of midair, and pulls it down. Freaking unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. He's almost 6'7". Okay, 6'6.5", 264 pounds. Right, hell of an athlete. Zach Kunz from Old Dominion. Okay, he did very well. Let's see here, but he's 6'7". Okay, 250-pound tight end turned in an insane 4.55 40-yard dash and a 40-inch vertical. Now listen to this. Not only was he the tallest player in combine history to record those kind of numbers, he did so after having surgery to repair a dislocated kneecap. Wow. Even more impressively, Kunz looked surprisingly fluid in the field drills. All right, so he's 6'7". Okay. He's not a big, because 6'7", he's 255 pounds, a nice size. Okay. But a 40-inch vertical, right? 6'7". Actually, he's almost 6'7.5", almost. All right, with a 40-inch vertical. So he turned in a 4.55 second 40 and a 40-inch vertical. He's the tallest player in combine history to record those kind of numbers. All right, so you got the main guys, the big the Kincaid and. Musgrave, I hear a lot about Meyer, from Notre Dame, right? But there's a lot of other guys as well too. Okay, so there might be 1 or 2 tight ends that go in the first round, possibly the Giants. One of them might come to the Giants, right? Might be also a day 2 But if the Giants don't go for day 2, that's quite possibly they got 2 third-round picks. That's quite possibly they might be able to snatch up one of them. Right? This is for the long haul, okay, for the Giants here. It's not everything's not getting fixed this year. Everything wasn't getting fixed last year. Okay, I hate saying, I hope we do. I hope we win the next 300 Super Bowls. We're not going to the Super Bowl next year. I hope we do. I don't think we're going to. We gotta, we're losing a lot of guys with free agency because we're trying to sign Daniel Jones. I don't even know if we'll be able to bring Saquon Barkley back, right? So we're going to be losing a lot of guys, right? We have a harder schedule next year, right? We're drafting a lot of guys, but we're losing a lot of guys, free agents. Happens every year. So the Giants can maybe improve the team, but their record might take a step backwards. Okay, so I don't even want to bring it up, but we may not even make the playoffs next year. I hope we do. I hope we go 17-0. Sure, but we may not make the playoffs next year, right? So our team can maybe get better, maybe, but we might take a step backwards, or we might have about the same record, right? But it's a process. Okay, so if we don't get that number 1 wide receiver or something like that, we go after, like, say, a cornerback in the first round, maybe get a center in the second round, third round, whatever. You get maybe another edge rush or a defensive lineman, right? Take a tight end, something like that. Maybe in the fourth round you draft. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Well, in the third round you grab the wide receiver, right? Just another piece to the puzzle. Okay, you got Wan'Dale Robinson. He's a piece. Okay, you got Daniel Bellinger from last year. He's a piece, right? You need pieces. Okay, we're losing guys, right? We lost Kadarius Toney. Okay, we lost Golladay. I don't know if we're bringing Shepard back. We might be losing Slayton. I don't know if we can bring Slayton back. I don't know if we can afford Slayton if we can't sign Daniel Jones. We have to put the franchise there. So we're losing a lot of guys, but we have to start bringing pieces in. I said we got Wan'Dale Robinson, we got Hodgins, right? We got a boatload of tight ends, but we got Bellinger. We can add another piece to the puzzle this year, whether it's a tight end or a wide receiver. As I said, we're going to draft a wide receiver, absolutely, right? May not be in the first round, though. May not be that wide receiver number 1 everybody's looking for. So if it winds up being our biggest weapon that we wind up drafting this year is a tight end, well, so be it. There's good depth at the tight end position. Just because we don't grab that number 1 wide receiver, it doesn't mean we can't draft a weapon, meaning it being a tight end. So this was a very, very important day for the Giants. Quarterbacks, because you have no idea. So clock is ticking with Daniel Jones, right? If he thinks he wants $45 to $50 million and he don't want to sign the contract, and the Giants got a franchise tag, put the franchise tag on him, right? That could cause a little bit of friction. Giants might want to start, looking a little harder in the draft, maybe for a quarterback, right? I said, well, there's a big day for wide receivers, right? Just because we don't get somebody in the first round, if we go after somebody else, right, a cornerback or something like that, doesn't mean you can't get one of these, wide receivers in a second, third round or so, right? And the tight ends, right? We got Bellinger. Hey, let's get somebody else in there too, right? Right? I said this is for the long haul, right? It ain't going to be all fixed in 1 year. It's going to take multiple years, right? So we added some pieces to the puzzle last year. Hopefully we'll have another 11 draft picks this year, right? We're going to be getting some of the guys who were injured last year back. 11 draft picks this year, maybe another 7 draft picks next year, and then you can start seeing, right? We'll have if we have Bellinger, if we draft another tight end, we'll have 2 young tight ends going forward, right? Nothing wrong with that. So today was a big day. Combine. A lot of guys stepped up big time, and that was good to see. I said, because I get it and I understand, because if you're a quarterback and you want to look really, really good, I get it, because if you really, really look good, that kind of might really help cement you as being the first quarterback off the board, or whatever. I get it. I can understand, but so once again, you got to give the guys who step up in adversity, right? Haven't played in that stadium before, trying to catch balls or throw passes, to guys they've never thrown the ball to before, or wide receivers trying to catch passes from guys they never caught passes from before. That's adversity. You got to give these guys a lot of credit. Okay, so it was a big day for the cornerbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. And tomorrow wraps everything up. You got the running backs and I believe the offensive linemen. So big day. So it's been 45 minutes. Anybody spent any time at all listening to me rambling on? Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, it means the world to me. It really does. Thank you so much. Thank you. Or if anybody spends any time at all watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.